All right, so we're adding back that. All right, great. So I am back with you now, guys. I realize that a lot of persons thought I left, but I am back with you. All right, so are we ready to go again? All right, great. So we have been having some issues just now. I realized that we had to change some setting. We've been moving from software to software, and that tend to create a little bother. But that would have been resolved now. I do hope that you're hearing. Just tell me in the chat if you're hearing, we can continue the conversation. All right. Are you hearing? Ohms, are you hearing? If you're hearing, just let me know in the chat that you are hearing. All right, I'm trying to put a banner on screen as well. Okay, great, you're hearing. All right, so good. All right. All right, I'm just setting up some stuff. All right. All right, looking good now. All right, great. All right, so we have been, I'm seeing messages, but something is just not right. Something ain't right. All right, anyway, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to continue with what we're doing. We're going to be talking about the exams for tomorrow. We're going to be talking about CSEC exam for tomorrow and what is expected of us. I have been having a little issue here trying to sort out what has been happening. Well, it's resolved now. I think I understand a little better. What happens is that as soon as we use the software, the mic comes over this to the software. When we are using the other software, the mic goes over. And in order for us to talk, we have to turn the mic on over here in order to get through. But it's a learning curve, and I think we're doing better. More so, whoa, I have something. All right, more so that we are understanding the software a little better. So we started out earlier talking about what is the expectation for CXC tomorrow and for the rest of the week. And I did have a show on Friday, the day when I thought it was actually Saturday, when I thought it was Thursday. And we spoke about what are some of the expectations for tomorrow into the rest of the week. I did say in that show that we're supposed to continue the whole studying to ensure that we are ready for whatever exams we're going to be having tomorrow. Now, at which point I did not know that there was a release from CXC as to the expectations for tomorrow, but I got a document on my phone today that pretty much provides some updates as to what we should be doing tomorrow onwards. Like I said, in Jamaica, we have been having some rain since today. I was expecting a whole lot of rain yesterday, but in Kingston, we were not having that. However, today it is pretty overcast now, dark on the outside, if you ask me, and it was sort of flooding earlier. I'm not too sure what has been happening in the rest of the Caribbean island. I think I saw a TikTok earlier, and it was looking like really, really, really scary in Barbados. If you're from one of those islands and it is really bad with you and you want to share with us now, we would really appreciate what you have to share. We want to know what is happening with the family in the other Caribbean island. But be reminded that a CXC is on for tomorrow. As much as we know, there is no later release than the one that I'll be sharing with you in short order. So I will be sharing a file with you in short order that should pretty much provide you with the necessary information for the exams this week. The document is from the CXC, and of course, we are going to go through that at length so that you have a good idea as to the expectations for tomorrow. So there, the document is on screen. I'm not too sure how many persons can see it, but we are going to go back to that document in short order. Sir, in Kingston, flood out. Where in Kingston are you? Marcus Garvey Drive, Holmes? I'm pretty much in Arthur Tree. It's raining where you are, wherever you are in Kingston. I'm just waiting on everybody to come in and settle in. We had a little problem just earlier with the audio, so it's sort of late, but I really don't want to disappoint anyone who came in early and had to leave and that type of thing. So forgive me if I'm not sharing the story with you as yet. I do hope that you are studying. I was saying to you earlier, all right, great Pinto. I was saying to you earlier that I'm the type of person who get up like 2 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, and that's me. I'm reading and writing. And today I got up early because I sent off my book to be edited and it came back. And I was going through the book with the editor and so on. Some of the things I didn't like, some of the things, So I was sort of streamlining things how I wanted it, despite the editor saw it. And we went through that. That was the first book. I have 2 books working on now. And then I fell asleep. And I woke up and I thought it was about 10 o'clock, only to find out that it was after 2. And I'm wondering how many persons fell prey to the trap of this weather and they are asleep when they should be actually preparing for exam. The fact that we have to go to school tomorrow is in a thunderstorm is just upsetting. I hate CXC so much. I like that. I think I want to talk about that. Romario, me too. All right, Romario, stand with your Grant. What can I say? Hi, I'm from Cayman Island and it's dry here. We're happy for you. Someday I want to come to Cayman to look at the desalination unit that you have over there. I don't know which of these Caribbean islands I'll be going to first, but I'll definitely have to promote my book. So I was telling you that I'm working on this book after being in the classroom for so long, over 13 years. I'll share with you this thing. I was given this thing earlier by my dean of academics. I don't know if you can see it. It is saying that it's for 100% pass in CAPE. That is like a repeated thing, so probably I should get one every year. All right, so after being in the classroom for over 13 years, I think that it is time for me to write, and I also think that I am there too long. So I have been putting some things that I know in writing. I have been looking at different facets of education, and I am writing. Couple of books that I'll be having out. You are going to be getting a series of books. If you are doing biochemistry, physics, the sciences, agri, NV, I'm going to be putting out different type of books, plus storybook for kids that will be coming out. So when I have time, I just sit and I just work on something for you. I promise you are going to love them, because what I would have done is not just to think about writing a book, but instead to look at some of the problems that I would have seen over the years as a teacher, and over the year that I've been with you, some of the things that you would have shared, I think that we need to address them. All right, so see where I get wash away. Okay, Holmes, you're getting what? Yeah, it's raining now. When me reach the center, me wet up bad. Where, Holmes? When was that? That was on Friday? Or is it that you're talking about tomorrow? Was it on Friday, or are you talking about tomorrow? All right, great. So the exams are on for tomorrow. And CXC is saying, just let me share the document now. I hope that you'll be able to see it. All right, the document is on screen, and this document is from CXC. You would have seen. You can just read for yourself there as to what it is saying. Don't do that. I'm sorry, guys. All right, so there the document is on screen. You can just have a look at it. I hope that you're seeing it well. It is in full screen now. I could probably change that over as well, so you can have a read for yourself. Just let me just give you the full document. Going to the full document. So there we have the full document on screen. All right, so it is saying the Overseas Examination Commission, OEC, wishes to remind all parents, guardians of candidates sitting external examination that in the event of heavy rains and flooding, candidates should make every effort to get to their assigned center as safely and as early as possible. However, should they experience difficulty in doing so, candidates are encouraged to get to the center nearest to them to sit the examination. Under no circumstance should candidates attempt to cross dangerous flooded roads, gullies, rivers, and fording in order to reach the center. However, it is very important that parents, guardians take possible steps to ensure that the candidates that the examination are written. Where possible, parents, guardian may want to arrange for a candidate to stay with relatives if they think they may experience grave challenges in reaching an examination center, should they remain in the current location. Now, it says here for further information, there are some numbers at the bottom of the screen there that you can call. And there's also an email address that says info@overseasexams.org.jm. So this is out of the office in Jamaica. I know that the Barbados office is closed, so I'm not too sure. I think that it's something for the Caribbean, being that it's a regional exam. I think that this is going to be for everyone. So I don't know what the instructions are in your neck of the woods, but this is what CXC is saying as of the 2nd of July, that if you encounter any of these challenges, this is what you should do, which suggests that if you know that you are going to be having a problem, put it this way. Suppose you are living in Jamaica and you are somewhere in Bagwalk or somewhere in Yuatan, and you know that you are going to go through the gorge to come to that exam, probably at St. Catherine I or one of those schools in Spanish Town. It might not be a good idea to traverse the part of the gorge. It is best for you to take the highway if that is possible, or it would be advisable that you relocate if you can to a family member so that you won't endanger yourselves. If you have to pass fording, I know that in Jamaica for past couple of years, every time that it rains, somebody pretty much get washed away. We don't want that to happen. So whatever plans you have to put in place this evening to ensure that you can get to your exams tomorrow or to the nearest school, that is important. Hence, if you are living, let me think about it. If you are living in St. Thomas, Morant Bay probably, or you're living in Yallis, that's a pretty good example in Jamaica. If you are living in Yallis and you are going to come to Donald Quarry in Kingston, in Harborview there, it might be better for you to sit that exam at the Yallis Secondary High School. I don't know which it is, right? And if you are living in Port Antonio and you are going to Happy Grove High School, it might be better for you to sit the exam at Titchfield or Portland I, one of those schools, right? So you really don't want to endanger yourself to get to school. I know that in Spanish Town, it is really, really hard. I have gone through Spanish Town when it rains, and it's not an easy thing. So probably if you are living in like Old Harbor, Langsville area, and you have the exams tomorrow, probably you want to think about stopping by the Old Harbor High, or you're going to be taking the highway. I'm not too sure if the highway get flooded into Kingston to get to school. But the thing about it, tomorrow evening, I really don't want to be reporting that we would have lost a student because the student pretty much braved the water or braved the challenges to get to the exams. But you really need, as CXC is saying, try as best as possible to get to the exam. So talk to your parents this evening, make every arrangement. It is better to be safe than to be sorry. So it's better for you to relocate this evening than to say, oh, it's going to clear up by tomorrow, so I'll just go in tomorrow. Make the preparations this evening so that you will be ahead of the pack. All right? Don't wait until tomorrow that you're having problem. Another thing I would suggest, though, that is not in the document. If you even get to the exam centers late tomorrow, try to be there. And in getting to the exam center, ensure that you have some credit today, that you can make the necessary calls to say that I am on my way, I am late, I am having this challenge. Can you get me there? All right? Even though tomorrow might be a really, really threatening situation, I don't know. Please continue to maintain all the safety or to observe all the safety protocols. You don't want to go out and because it's raining, you jump in anybody's car and they will hear that you are another part of the statistic. And you don't want to go out tomorrow and you just go home with a friend. We don't want that, all right? We want to ensure that the communication channel is kept open tomorrow and everybody is pretty much aware as to what they should do. So families should now activate their personal disaster plan. Who will do the calling? What time should you get home? That type of a thing must be done this evening into tomorrow. All right? Sorry. So persons are a little worried about getting wet tomorrow for the exam. The reality is that CXC is just a passive moment, if you ask me. However, can you think about if tomorrow you were supposed to end up in the hospital and the doctor who is supposed to perform a life-saving surgery decided that I am not coming to work because it's raining? Think about that. Or can you imagine the person who controls the frequency on the power line decides that I'm not going to work today, and then your power company decide that they are going to turn off a light? Or can you imagine if your water supplier decide that there'll be nobody to regulate the gates and they turn off the water? Think about it. All that you're doing now is to prepare for the real work. So the idea of going out to the exam when it rains, you are going to go to work when it is raining. You are going to go to work when it is snowing. You are going to go to work when there is man-made and natural disaster once there's a requirement for you to go to work. So let us not foster this idea that CXC is wicked because it is raining. It's a part of the training. We are not going to die today and resurrect on Tuesday. We are going to continue to live throughout the inclement weather condition. So we would have had to have plans in place so that we can make it to the other side of the river. All right. So you would have had a copy of the document. Now the video will be left online. We have about 4 minutes left. If there's anything that you want to share with me, I would be very grateful if there are things that I can answer. Other than that, within the next 4 minutes, we are going to head on back into preparation for tomorrow. We're going to be calling those persons that we need to call. We are going to activate those disaster plans, and we are going to make sure that we're safe for tomorrow. Are you going to have a marathon before the 14th? Williams from Cayman wanting a marathon before the 14th. Now, Williams, tell me, am I logging now? Now that I'm talking to you, am I logging? Or is it the communication coming through nicely in time? Just tell me that bit. Am I logging? Because that is one of the downfall in having a marathon. If I'm logging, then you are going to be having a little challenge. So just tell me in the chat if I'm logging. I am going to look at something. I won't be here for very long. Okay, it's coming through nicely. All right, great. So I'm going to put something on the screen, and providing that it is coming through, then I will just send a thumbnail someday to say what we're doing and how we're going to do it. But once the software is working, because students are saying that, sir, I want to see what we are doing. I want us to have a part in the meeting. So once that is happening, I will definitely make myself available some of the times to assist you. So I am going to put something on the screen now. If it works, if you can see it, if you can hear it, or if you can hear from me, then definitely we should have something all set up for the near future. So just let me just put this on screen. All right, so one sec, I'm back with you. So I go stop sharing OCS. All right. We have several paper too, and we would have placed them on the channel. So if you go to my channel, CSEC Biology TCP, and click on that blue icon that says CSEC Biology TCP. It should take you to the back end of my channel. Go into the playlist, and when you get into the playlist, that should provide some amount of assistance for you. But there's a lot of things that we would have had there, a whole lot of past papers. We realize that students are not accessing the past papers as they should. We're not certain what is happening if it's a case that you can't find it. If it's a case that you can't find it, we have to find another way to make sure that it works for you. So I'm trying several things as we speak to see how best I can assist you. Good evening, everyone. Catch me up on all said, please. All right, all that is said, you probably have to catch the replay. You probably would have to look at the replay because we said so much, and we said that we wouldn't be here for very long, but we are going to be trying something. I'm going to be showing you something, and if it works, it suggests that we can use the platform to do past papers. If it doesn't work, then it suggests that somebody asked about biology paper 2. So let's look at this to see what happens here.
TCP. I am Mr. Wilson from TCP Academy, and today we're looking at the May-June 2016 biology paper. It is, of course, the paper 2 paper, which is slated to last 2.5 hours if you were supposed to do it, but we're going to see how quickly we can get it done. Please ensure that when you go to the exam, you read all the instructions on the paper so that you'll be answering what is asked and not what you think was asked or should have been asked. Now, question number 1 is usually a lab question, so it's very important that your lab skills are up to par. Let us read this question. It comes from section A of your paper. It says, answer all questions in this section. Write your answers in the space provided in this booklet. 1A. So this is section A of question number 1. It says students investigate the effect of temperature on the rate of reaction of the enzyme catalase. Now here you'll realize that in the first sentence, you can find the aim for this experiment. They use crushed potato as a source of enzyme and place 5 milligram into each of 7 test tubes. Here you'll realize that of course potato has protein if it contains enzymes. They added 3 centimeter cube of 1% hydrogen peroxide, that is H2O2, to each test tube and place them into water bath, kept at the following temperature. And the temperature are as outlined: 0 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees Celsius, 30 degrees Celsius, 40, 60 degrees Celsius, and of course 50 degrees Celsius. They count the number of bubbles released per minute from each test tube and recorded the data in a table. Now this is a very interesting table. Let us look at what a table entails. Here you'll observe it has a title at the top, and it has header column. So here we have the header column, header column, header column, and this will be considered the header row. The first thing here, header row, that type of a thing. And this is pretty much a convention for a table. If you observe, the table has 4 sides and the numbers are all written in straight line coming down, and there's no missing cell in the table or no missing data in the table. If you observe, the unit is not repeated in the cell here, so we have degrees Celsius and it's not repeated here, and we have oxygen bubbles, and we really don't repeat the units in the cell, we just place the numbers there. Now we're looking at the table, and the convention for table is that the independent variable, that's a variable that the experimenter will manipulate, is going to be in the leftmost column. Now if we were supposed to use the leftmost column here, which is test tube, we would have to have a legend for the graph. That would be a little more work. So I want to go on down to look at what we would have done. Here I would have just drawn a sketch of what the graph is supposed to be based on what I'm seeing here with the table. You're seeing that we're going up 0 up to 30, 40, 50, 60, but not that there. We're looking at what happens on the frequency. So we go here and we observe that we went up to about 15 there, so up about to 15, and then we had a crash. So let us look at what the question is saying. Great. So we're supposed to plot a graph on the grid provided on page 5 to show the relationship between the number of bubbles and of course temperature. So here we're seeing 2 things. It tells us what we're supposed to plot. We're supposed to plot number of bubbles versus temperature. Here it is very important that we understand the difference between the independent and the dependent variable, because it clearly says bubbles and temperature. So some students would put bubbles on the y-axis or on the x-axis and not really sure what they should do. But please be reminded, usually it is the leftmost that goes on the x-axis. So here it would have been temperature. Now if you observe here, we are manipulating temperature because we have different temperature, and the experimenter actually decided what the temperature would have been. On the y-axis, this is not up to the experimenter. This will change as a result of the experimenter changing what is on the x-axis. So the bubbles are going to be on your y-axis, and of course temperature on the x-axis. That's the first thing that we need to know, and for that you would have gotten 4 marks. But here we're supposed to get this information from the graph. We're supposed to determine the optimum temperature for the enzyme. Now the optimum temperature is of course going to be the ice point at which the enzyme works and is efficient. That would have been right here at the top, and if we want to find that, all we have to do is to look for the highest number of bubbles, and that would have been 15. So it's 15, and the temperature here would have been 40. This is of course the optimum, the ice efficient point, and that's right there at the top of that graph I've just drawn to explain before we opt. So 40 there we have as the answer, 40 degrees Celsius to be specific. The unit is very important. Now, working with graph is a lesson by itself, and students tend to shy away from graph because I don't know if enough work is not done there, but they're still shying away from graph. So the first thing we had to do, we had to work out the axis for this graph. But we did some things that probably would have been easier to be done before the axis. One of the things that we did, we drew the graph. So if you observe this red line coming down, I'll just show that to you. This red line coming down, showing that we drew the graph, and you're seeing the directional line, meaning that it is increasing in this way. So we drew the graph rather than just populating the grid. You're seeing the red line going all around, showing the x and of course y axis, and then you see the axis being the name. Temperature here in degrees Celsius, it is measured, and on this side you're seeing that it is measured in the number of bubbles per minute. And then we had to represent this on the graph paper. So what we had to do, we had to work a scale out. So here we're saying each of these grid represent a centimeter. So 1 grid, 2 grid. So we're saying here 2 centimeter represents 10 degrees Celsius. And you're going to see that in the scale. Here we're saying that 2 centimeter represents, this probably is represented differently than it is here. We're saying that 1 centimeter represents 5 degrees Celsius, and on the x-axis and on the y-axis 1 centimeter would of course represent 1 bubble, and that you can pick that information up on the table. Now we get into drawing the curve. Now all lines on a graph, they are referred to as curve. Now if you're using a dot to plot the points, then you want to ensure that the dot, they are all circled. So I'm using dots here. So I'm circling just to identify the point that I am supposed to swing the curve through. So you'll observe here that the dot is all there. I'm using Microsoft Word to draw this graph, so it might not be as if you were drawing with your pencil. So the line is all swung pretty much through all these points, and it comes up at the top here. If you observe, there's not a sharp decline, there's a little curve here coming down, and that's pretty much, you should always have this little curve. It didn't just happen that boop, went up like a ball and returned down. It had to sort of slow down and then came right back down to the bottom. So this pretty much represents what your graph should be, and I'm just going to just let that zoom in a little bit so you can have a better appreciation of what the entire graph should look like. Just let me show you the full graph here before we move on. So I'm going to put everything on one page to show you what a graph should look like if you are doing the graph. So that's pretty much what your graph should look like for your exam. You want to ensure. Now, another thing that a graph should have is a title, and you observe the title is given here, so there's no need to go recreating the title because it's already given. So all graph must have a title, and the title is given here, so there's no need to go recreating the title. I do hope that you have that and you are able to do your graph question should you see one for your exam. So we move on to the other questions, and students tend to say, I would want to see the question and not the answer. So we're going to try as much as possible to see how best we can do that. So explain the shape of a graph at each of the following temperature range. So we want to explain the shape of the graph. In explaining the shape of the graph, two things might be captured. Why is the graph shaped like it is shaped? And what does the shape actually means? So we want to look at, in explaining the shape of a graph, we want to know why is it shaped like that and what this shape means. These two things we need to take in consideration. So let's look at what the answer is for this particular question. So we're looking at that, 0 to 10 degrees Celsius. There was a gentle increase in enzyme activity, which is pretty much a common thing when we are looking at curves like the sigmoid curve. It starts out very, very
This takes us to the end of what we want to cover for today. For persons who want to watch the complete video or the entire video, the playlist is on my channel, CSEC Biology TCP. In order to access the playlist, all you need to do is to click that blue icon to the left that says CSEC Biology TCP, and you'll take you to the back end of the channel. When you go there, click on the playlist. When you click on the playlist, just look for the biology playlist, and there's also a human and social biology playlist. So if you can't find the past papers, that is where you'll find them. You'll find the whole list of past papers, both paper 2 and the paper 1, for those persons who have interest in biology. Makisha, hi, how you doing? Makisia, hi, how you doing? So I'm going to make my way out now. Like I promised, that I'm not going to be here for very long because I have been working on a lot and you have been working on a lot. I know that a lot of persons have exams tomorrow and you have your own little way of preparing. What I'm going to try for you, I'm going to try to be with you on Wednesday with a paper that we can share on this platform. I'm not sure, we might look at the 2019 Human and Social Biology paper to see how best we can treat it. That for those persons who have been asking for the 2019, we're going to try to have it here for Wednesday of this week. And it's going to be Wednesday showtime, 5 o'clock thereabout. All right, so until we meet, please be safe. Watch the video in its entirety. Make sure that you know what you're supposed to do tomorrow. Know that we can use StreamYard to stream the live sessions. We are definitely going to be trying to do that to ensure that we can reach you as much as possible. Please be reminded to give the videos some love when you watch them. If there's a video that you have watched and you like that video, click on the like button, the thumbs up, and it will go to your playlist. So you won't have to go searching for past paper every minute. You just go to your favorite playlist, and of course, you'll definitely find the videos that you have watched and the videos that you have liked. If you like what we do here at CSEC Biology TCP, please ensure that you click that subscribe button and then you click the notification bell and select all. If you don't do that, you won't know when we're on. You won't know when there is something cracking or popping that we're releasing, and probably you'll be out of the loop. You want to also ensure that you are sharing the videos. When you share the videos, more persons watch them, and the YouTube algorithm picks up the video that more persons are watching them, and then the algorithm will put more of my video in front of you, so you won't be in a state where you're asking, what does that mean? I can't find Sir video. We have almost 300 videos online. So if you share them, more persons will be watching them. Put them on your status. Put them on your status and share them that other persons can see them, like them, and watch them. And of course, you'll be getting more. The more we find persons watching the videos, the more we find persons subscribing to the channel, it is the more that we do new work for you. Now, if we have work that is not being consumed, then it suggests that the work is not needed. So we are not going to be doing much work for you. So the more they are consumed, the more that we will work. Until we meet, final thing here, be reminded to like, share, and of course, subscribe. Leave a comment below. Was the session today helpful? Yes or no is fine. Good evening and take care.